If it's Monday night, oh, yes, it is Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyer here with you for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. So glad you're with us. And I'm joined, as always, by the Cerebral Viper, good old MF, Michael Fletcher, the host of the Cerebral Smack Talk, and, of course, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. The First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, will not be joining us tonight via work commitments, but she will be with us tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk. But for right now, we're going to get into this. We're going to review Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Clash of the Champions, and then we'll also do my Tony's take on last week's edition of Impact Wrestling, and I'll set the table for a huge go-home show on Thursday night, which will be the go-home show for their biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, which I'm really looking forward to on Thursday night. Not going to lie to you. So, all right. With that being said, let's dive right on in, guys. Monday Night Raw, live tonight from the U.S. Bank Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the USA Network. Of course, sorting out the fallout from the Clash of Champions last night. And without any further ado, let's start it off. And what a way to start it off. I mean, it is not often that we get a match to start off Monday Night Raw. Because, you know, when you start off Monday Night Raw, what do we always get? We always get some long-winded windbag running his or her mouth for about 25 to 30 minutes each and every week, week after week. Not tonight, because what happened tonight? Well, we lit off with a match, but not just any match. It was a championship match. I got to do it. A United States Heavyweight Championship rematch from last night. New champion Roman Reigns in his first title defense against the challenger and former champion Rusev, and that's how we started the show. And I'm afraid I have some bad news. Fight ended in a double countout. Good news? Listen to the time of the fall, friends. 25 minutes and 35 seconds was the time of the fall. All right. I know last night we had a few controversial moments during our Clash of the Champions recap, and I'm hoping that we can avoid that again here tonight. But, you know, a lot of the prisoner of the moment moments, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to be one here. Even with the double countout finish, this to me was the fight of the night. Honest to goodness. I'm going to give it between 3.25 and 3.5 stars for the effort. I would have gone higher, but the double countout finish, you know how we are, you know, we frown upon that all the time. But I love that Monday Night Raw opened with a match rather than a long talking segment for a change. But having these two go 25 minutes and ending the match in a double countout was a head scratcher. I assume the finish is an indication that they intend to keep this going through Hell in a Cell. It is one of the only Raw feuds that feels heated enough and has gone on long enough to justify a Hell in a Cell match. If that's the plan, I'm still not sure why they didn't save the title change for Hell in a Cell. By the way, if I'm gonna back that up. I'm gonna back up on that. We initially thought maybe one Hell in a Cell match. Well, if you haven't seen the last few Hell in a Cell events over the years, there's been more than one. I already know what the two Hell in a Cell matches are going to be, and you know what? This is going to be one of them. Don't be surprised if come October 30th at the TD Garden in Boston, we get these two, Roman Reigns and Rusev, inside the ominous Hell in a Cell for the United States Heavyweight Championship. And that could be something really special if that's the case. So that's pretty much all you can give for right now. But nonetheless, though, it was a very good way to start off Monday Night Raw. So nice to see a match start off Monday Night Raw instead of that long-winded, hot garbage windbag opening segment, even though there have been some entertaining ones, but thank God they didn't start it off with that. This is how you should start Monday Night Raw off often. It doesn't necessarily have to be a championship match. as long as you started off with a highly competitive match between two over talents, that's good enough for me. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. This to me was my fight of the night. I don't care what anybody says. If you want to call me a prisoner of the moment, go right ahead. I don't give a damn. This coming from the man who tells it like it is. So with that being said, let's bring in the host of the Cerebral Smack Talk, the one and only Girl MF, Michael Fletcher, the Cerebral Viper. Your thoughts on this rare opening match, a championship match, Roman and Rusev. They go to a double count out, 25.5 minutes.
I'm going to say this. The reason why it's long and they went for the big show tonight is because of the fact that, number one, there was a presidential debate going down. Number two, there's a Monday Night Football game that was Falcons and Saints, and you knew those two things were going to be huge. Plus, you also got a couple of new premieres because the fall schedule's now out, and you were going to have some debuting shows coming in tonight. So Monday Night Raw really needed something to grab the fans so that they don't lose momentum for the rest of the night. And guess what? They nailed it. Great start. Begin the show. I'm gonna amend it a little bit, Anthony. I could say between 3 and 3.25 stars. I can't go 3.5. It is fight of the night. I'm not gonna argue that. This was definitely fight of the night. I just thought that the ending was a little weak. I didn't like the ending, but it was predictable. That was one of the biggest problems I had last night. Is it was predictable matches. Is like I could have saw this from a mile away, and that really got me really upset. Because if it wasn't for the predictable booking, this could have been an even better show. So last night was Clash of Champions. Tonight, they did everything right. And I kind of felt like in one way or another, it had to end in a weird way because of the fact that you want to keep this rivalry going. So I have nothing wrong bad to say about this. I'm good with it. It's all cool. 3 to 3.25 stars. Definitely fight of the night. I'm not going to argue that. But it was expected. I think we all could have expected either Roman was going to go over or there was going to be some kind of crooky finish that would extend this little story to move on. Because I think you're absolutely right. I think this end game is going to have to be Hell in a Cell in Boston for the United States title. They got to somehow have to find that end game there. But for now, what it was. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I do agree. This was the fight of the night. I'm going to agree more with Fletcher's rating. I'm going to say 3 to 3.25 stars. Yeah, I mean, to open up Monday Night Raw with a match instead of the usual 20 to 30 minute promo that we normally get. I mean, I like it, and I mean, yeah, we knew one of two things was going to happen. It was either going to end with Roman Reigns going over, or both of them getting counted out, and both of them got counted out, and you know this feud's going to continue at Hell in a Cell in Boston. So the match certainly was good for what it was. I mean, that's certainly a good amount of time they gave, but it's just that ending that really killed it. But it was still a good match. I mean, yeah. So 3.25 stars. This was the fight of the night. So with that being said, Florio, let's move on.
Okay. I'm gonna need to. I got to put out a forewarning, and I got to put out a disclaimer. What we're gonna get into next, Michael Bullock's gonna go on a big time rant. I've already given him the power and authority to do just that, because we had our Raw chat like we always do, and what he saw on this, I mean, I've known this guy for 26 years, and I never heard him as angry as I heard him during this. So be forewarned, and he's going to go second in this because MF's going to lead off on this. It is, however, a 2-for-1 segment. Let's make that clear. This is going to be a 2-for-1 segment. You know how we are about that. It started. All right, what happened here? Next up, we had Raw General Manager Mick Foley. He came out to the ring to address the controversy from last night between Cesaro and Sheamus. As you know, they had the 7th and deciding match in the Best of 7 series. It ended in a draw. It ended in a no contest due to a referee stoppage because of the doctors at ringside. Damn shame, too, because that thing was on its way to being a 5-star classic. Chock full of Shakespearean drama and everything else. But Mick Foley comes out, and then Sheamus and Cesaro, they have their verbal exchange, and he said, "I'm the better man." And Sheamus kept saying to Foley, "Hey, didn't you say that whoever was more physically dominant would get the championship opportunity?" And then Foley says, "Sheamus, you're right." And he says, "Well, Cesaro, you're right too. And what I'm going to do is you're both going to get championship opportunities. You're going to share the opportunity. It's not going to be an individual championship opportunity. You two are going to team up and challenge for the WWE Tag Team Championship." And then it leads to a match, another championship match, another championship rematch from last night. New Day going on their 400th day as tag team champions, defending against Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the winners of the match, and still your WWE World Tag Team Champions. It is the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Trouble in Paradise on Carl Anderson. Time of the fall, approximately 11 minutes. We're going to start it off with MF, and then we'll go into Bullock's big-time rant, because I know Bullock was very upset about this. So, Fletch, MF, we're going to start this with you. Your thoughts on Mick Foley booking Cesaro and Sheamus as tag team partners going for the tag titles, and your thoughts on the tag title match altogether.
Wow. So we went 7 matches out that Cesaro and Sheamus now have to be a tag team. Opportunity for the titles was for the tag team championship. Oof. Oh boy. I want to be a fly on the wall on what that conversation was like with Florio and Bullock earlier tonight, because I was working and I heard this from Bill McConnell and I could not even believe my ears when I heard that. People are exploding on social media. I mean, Twitter is ablaze, and not in a good way. They are really angry. They are absolutely ticked, because they're like, that is a complete and utter waste of that 7-fight series now. Because that is a total disservice to Sheamus, a total disservice to Cesaro, and a total disservice to everything that happened in that series. It was ugly. It's ugly right now on social media. Twitter is ablaze. It's not good, guys. And wow, I am shocked with this. But I'll say this. Normally, when teams that don't necessarily coexist or work together, that's a great cohesive unit, has gone on to win the tag team titles. Anthony Florio, this is my boldest prediction right now. At Hell in a Cell, because I believe this is going to happen, the New Day is going to lose the WWE Tag Team Championship to Sheamus and Cesaro. I'm calling it right here, right now. And Anthony, I'm even going to do your infamous line on that as well. I am calling for the crowning of New tag champions. As far as the other fight goes, um, good match, solid. I'm not gonna say it was the best match at all, but I mean, we've seen better matches in their, rivalry, whatever you want to call it. To me, I'm sorry. My rating for it is I'm gonna give about maybe 2.5 stars. I thought it was okay for what it was worth. Um, there's really nothing more about the fight because now I kind of feel like now this is probably going to be the end of Anderson and Gallows and their opportunity at the belt. Because, like I said, I think the New Day will now have to focus on Sheamus and Cesaro because now they're the next in line, which is a damn shame. I'm heartbroken because I think Anderson and Gallows the opportunity at the tag titles. They deserve the tag titles. They are meant for the tag titles. But once again, WWE is holding them back. Why? Because they're bigger names from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think what this is Vince McMahon trying to hold them down so that he can get guys that Triple H likes because you know how close he is with Sheamus, and from what I've heard, Vince adores Antonio Cesaro because of his work ethic and his professionalism and what he does night in and night out. So you got who's basically in literally the back pocket of the Authority. And that's why they're getting this opportunity. I mean, like I said, what the 7-fight series did was a complete utter waste of time. And I know Bullock is probably going to harp on that and go one step further with it, with this epic rant, supposedly. I don't know how it's going to be, but I hope that I at least took some of the venom away from Bullock because everybody knows if there's one thing that I know how to shut down a rant more than anybody else. So hopefully I'm giving you a chance and a clear mind. But if you want to just go off and blast WWE, be my guest, Bullock. It's all yours.
All right, Bullock. We talked about this during our Raw chat, and boy, howdy. I mean, you went off. Elaborate with our viewers why you went off.
Okay. I mean, you had this best of 7 series where the winner was going to get a championship opportunity. And now we come to find out that you're going to pair them up and it's for the tag team titles. Ugh. This series was just a complete and utter waste of time. I mean, and the thing is, so I am pissed off because I thought they were going to do something to maybe have an extra match in the series, and the thing is, it's a damn shame because Cesaro deserves way better than this. He deserves an opportunity at a world championship, especially the WWE Universal title since he's on Raw. I mean, yeah, he's had a world title shot before, but it was in the Elimination Chamber, not a one-on-one. And to find out that it's a tag team title opportunity, it's a total disservice to Cesaro. He deserves way better than this. But once again, this is WWE saying, oh, he's championship worthy, all right, but not world championship worthy. I mean, the man has worked his ass off to get a world championship opportunity, and come to find out now it's a tag title opportunity. Give me a freaking break, WWE. Give me a freaking break. I mean, this is why Vince McDinkleberg and Kevin freaking Dunn don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, Yeah, I mean, you said Vince McMahon. I mean, he adores Cesaro. Well, if he adores him, why doesn't he give him a chance at a world championship? I'll tell you why. It's that ego that basically is like, no, he doesn't deserve a world championship opportunity. He deserves it, Mr. McDinkleberg. I mean, give me a freaking break, WWE. I mean, this is a total disservice to him, and he deserves way freaking better than this. So screw you, WWE. And if I were Cesaro, I would quit WWE if I'm not going to get a world championship opportunity. And I know members of the Cesaro section, and I'm a proud member of it, are damn sure pissed off about this. I mean, to WWE, you guys are a bunch of freaking idiots. As far as the tag team title match, 2.5 stars. I got nothing more to say. I'm done. I'm finished. Florio, please take this before I really blow some steam off my freaking head.
And that's why we call him the Phenom, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's exactly what he said during our Raw chat tonight. I mean, that was probably word for word right there. I'm not at all surprised. But, yeah, I do agree. I mean, Cesaro does deserve better. I mean, Sheamus has done all there is to do. I mean, he's won almost every accolade there is. You know, he's won the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, the United States Heavyweight Championship on a couple of occasions, Royal Rumble match in 2012, and a Money in the Bank contract. But Cesaro, you know, he's been a tag team champion before, of course, with Tyson Kidd. You remember that. And
a United States champion.
I was about to say that. United States Heavyweight Champion as well. A very good running champion as well when he first came in. So, yeah. But you remember I said it last night during our Clash of Champions recap. I said that there was a chance that they were going to get a tag team championship match. Didn't I say that? And now that it came to fruition, there's nothing left for me to say except, I hate that I was right about that. I was hoping I was wrong, honestly. But it feels like a way to get out of the series without giving us an actual winner, which is disappointing. And feels like they wasted a lot of time with the matches and building to the old tag team that can't get along deal. Case in point being, of course, Team Hell No with Kane and Daniel Bryan. Y'all remember that.
Matt Hardy and MVP.
Matt Hardy and MVP, like Bullock mentioned. And if there's any other instance, feel free to throw it out if there is one. But those are the only two that I can remember off the top of my head. So we'll see how it plays out because these two guys are great and could, keyword could, be a fun tag team. But that felt completely uninspired and like a waste of time after all those matches between those guys. Why build the tag teams we have when we can do this? So that's pretty much all I can say about it. As far as the tag title match goes, I agree with the rating. It's 2.5 stars. The time of the fall was between 11 minutes and 11 minutes and 3 seconds, but it was still an 11-minute match. Anderson and Gallows are done. They lost again, and they lost cleanly this time. The good news for them is that if they hurry, they can get back to Japan for the World Tag League. Pretty good match overall, but it was hard to care due to the fact that we have seen the match so many times with the same outcome every time. So that's all I can say on that. So I will give it 2.5 stars, though. It was a solid match, and I agree with Michael Fletcher's sentiment. Hell in a Cell, that's when the New Day will finally lose their tag team championship, and they will lose them to Sheamus and Cesaro, whether we like it or not. And I know Bullock damn sure doesn't like it, but like Bautista once famously said, deal with it, and we're gonna have to deal with it, whether we like it or not. So with all that being said, let's move on to our next match. And this is one of the cutout, and unfortunately, we've arrived at a cutout moment here. You're thinking Bayley, you're like, Bayley is a cutoff? Really? Yeah, Bayley is a cutoff because she was in there. It was a showcase match for Bayley. She went up against a young lady by the name of Anna Fields. Of course, Bayley won it. 2 minutes and 10 seconds, wins it with the Bayley to belly. No rating to a dud. I mean, we're not going to waste our time on that because that's a cutoff. So with that being said, let's move on to our next match, which was the first of two cruiserweight matches on the show tonight, and on this in this first cruiserweight match, it was a tag team match. We had Cedric Alexander teaming up with Rich Swann going up against Lince Dorado and Drew Gulak. Winner of the match within a time frame of on one review I had 8 minutes and 10 seconds, and on another I have 8 minutes and 25 seconds, but it was about 8 to 8.5 minutes. Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann win the match. So, Michael Bullock, if you've recovered from your rant, you start this one off. Your thoughts on this cruiserweight tag team match? And we actually had some fun with this one.
Oh yeah, we had a whole hell of a lot of fun with this one. I'm gonna give it about I'll give it about 2.5 to 3 stars. I thought the body of work of the match was solid for what it was. I mean, yeah, it was a little too short, but man, this is why we love the cruiserweights, and I'm glad that they brought them back. I mean, you get all that high flying action, and Florio and I, we had fun with this, especially we talk about the commentary with Mauro Ranallo when he goes nuts when there's a high flying move, and
Tope Suicida.
Exactly, Florio. Exactly. You couldn't have done it any better, but
or a Tope Corhilo.
Yeah, I mean, nice win for Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann, and now you see why Cedric Alexander was so popular in the Cruiserweight Classic. So, and who knows, maybe he does get a future shot at the Cruiserweight Championship because of his body of work. So, yeah, so 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating on the match. Yeah, it was a little short, but in the time it got, I was wowed by the action that we saw here. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Right there with you, Bullock. Like I said, I'm gonna upgrade that just a smidge. 2 3/4 to 3 stars is my rating for the match. This was far from great, but I think they did good things here. The presentation going back to the Cruiserweight Classic was the right call, and it did make it feel different and more special. It felt as if they know they messed up last week. One thing is that for these shorter matches, they need to not have the commercial break, because a match like this had a super fun beginning and a good end. But when they came back from the break, it was cold, and they had to work really hard to bring the crowd back. I did appreciate the change in the presentation, though. So very good, another solid match here. I know they're probably gonna say, "Oh, you're being biased because of your love for the Cruiserweight Classic." And this Cruiserweight tag match, it was a spot fest with fans essentially being encouraged to cheer the moves rather than one team or the other. The usual good action, but I hope this becomes more character driven with baby faces and heels as it moves forward, because I didn't really feel that here. But other than that, solid matchup. 2 3/4 to 3 stars. Cedric Alexander, like Bullock said, very popular in the Cruiserweight Classic, especially that 5-star classic he had against Kota Ibushi. One of my top matches of the Cruiserweight Classic. It wasn't the best one. The best one was TJ Perkins and Kota Ibushi. That was the fight of the tournament. But other than that, very good. So 2 3/4 to 3 stars. Michael Fletcher, you were very critical of the Cruiserweights last week. I hope they impressed you this time around.
The reason why I was very critical about the Cruiserweights because it was the first time out. This time around, a lot better, a lot more solid. I liked how they played into this. This was not as bad as it was, because you got some people blasting away because it's like, oh, it's too much of a spot fest. It's this, it's that. Look, are the ones that really are the high flyers. They're the more entertaining. They're gonna give you that excitement level that is out of this world, as you would say. And yet, I thought it was solid. I thought it was better than and like I said, That's why I'm giving them a lot of love, and they deserve the love this tonight because I think it was better. It was more than um, it brought something more than what because going into last week, like we said, we were really annoyed was the key word, but I was expecting something more, and I didn't get that, and it really kind of I don't know. It left a bitter taste in my mouth. Let's say that. And bitter taste in the mouth. Something like that is just, it is. So for me, I'm gonna give it about 3 stars. I'm gonna give this a 3-star fight. I thought this was solid. I liked it. So Florio, it's yours.
All right. Moving on now. We move on to another cutout here. Well, Sheamus and Cesaro decided to give the whole tag team thing a try. We thought it was going to be a tag title match against the New Day, but it wasn't. It ended up being against a couple of Hammernager jabroni jobbers, Nick Cutler and Willie Williams. Of course, Sheamus and Cesaro won the match in 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Sheamus hit a couple of broke kicks, and then Cesaro ate the pin, and then Cesaro took the pin. So, okay. Well, this is obviously a cutout because it was pretty much a dud enhancement showcase match for Sheamus and Cesaro, and no rating to a dud here. Again, Sheamus and Cesaro may end up being a great and fun team. I just hate how we got here. I enjoyed the interaction here, though. So that's really all I can say on that. So now we move on to something interesting here. We would then get another in-ring segment. We brought out the women's champion, Charlotte, fresh off her successful title defense last night. Her and Dana Brooke ran their mouth and yada, yada. But she was then interrupted by Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks says, well, you pinned Bayley in the match last night, not me. So therefore, I think I still deserve my one-on-one rematch for the women's championship. And then Charlotte said, you know what? All right, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you your title shot. Not tonight. Next week. Because, friends, Monday Night Raw next week is going to be live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. And when they go to Staples, it's always, damn near always, a very big deal. Whether it's a Monday Night Raw, a SmackDown Live, a pay-per-view, God forbid a pay-per-view. I mean, come on, they did WrestleMania there, for goodness sakes. It's going to be a big deal. So pencil that in for next week. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks, one-on-one for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. And I made a bold statement to Michael Bullock, which he agreed with, which I'm not surprised because he damn near agrees with everything I say. I hope Michael Fletcher will feel the same way. I know this is probably not going to happen. It's very likely not going to happen because they don't have the ball, because WWE hardly ever has the balls to do this. But what I think they should do, this match with Charlotte and Sasha Banks for the Women's Championship in Los Angeles, in the Staples Center, if I was running this show, I would have these two main event that show next week. This show deserves to be the main event. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. Now, as far as the segment goes, one of my segments of the night, I probably would say second best segment of the night. Charlotte was very good and continues to shine as a heel personality. I love that they are advertising the match a week out. Perhaps they should have done this in the first hour before the debate started. But nonetheless, a really good promo segment from both ladies, much better than in previous outings. They could drop the silly names because their material was good and focused, and the delivery was strong. Plus, they set up a match for next week, like I said, which I love and appreciate. So, well done, ladies. It's on to Hollywood for the Women's Championship next Monday night at the Staples Center. I wish it would be the main event. It should be the main event because we always say the women deserve a shot at the main event. Don't believe me? Ask Trish and Lita. They got to main event of Raw. Why can't these two? Just saying. But of course, we know it's not going to happen because they don't have the balls or the cojones to do it. So, but if we ran the show, we damn sure would have the cojones to do it. Amen to that, MF, or what?
Nope. Sorry, not main event worthy. I'm just being real honest with you on that one. I mean, it would be a great match. It would be a very good, fine. But I'm sorry. Sasha Banks and Charlotte, not even close to main event worthiness. Kevin Owens is main event worthiness. Seth Rollins is main event worthiness. The guys who are right now running the Monday Night Raw, those two men, that's main event worthiness. Sorry. The ladies, as much as I love that Revolution and the whole 9 yards, Charlotte, to me, is not even championship material in my eyes. Sasha Banks should be with that belt tonight, not Charlotte. If you really want me to go there, I'll go there. So, as far as everything else goes, we all know what this is about. This is the ultimate payoff. This is going to be just like when Sasha won the belt on a Monday Night Raw because they didn't have the cojones to strap the belt on her at WrestleMania, dumbasses. They're going to do it again. And it's going to happen right here in LA. Why? Well, what the hell? I mean, you're going to have all the A-listers, all the movie stars, and you know Snoop Dogg is right in the heart of LA. He's from Compton, California. You don't think he's going to make the little jet down to the Staples Center to see his relative fight for the belt again? Maybe they might have him come out with her again like they did at WrestleMania. Oh, I mean, you talk about, it's going to be, this big thing where they should main event it. I'm sorry. They're nowhere near the class of a Trish Stratus and Lita. And for you, Anthony Foyle, to say something like that is blasphemy. And a downright disgrace is what you just threw at me 2 seconds ago. So don't give me that garbage ever again. Bullock, it's yours.
Whoa. Oh, man. Fletcher really went off there. And, yeah, the segment, I thought it was good for what it was. I did enjoy the back and forth with Sasha and Charlotte. And, yeah, now we know we're going to get the women's championship match next week. Who knows? Maybe it could be something good, especially since it is in LA. And now, as far as it being the main event of Raw, I say why not? I'll grant you this: it won't come close to what Lita and Trish did, but in some of the matches that we've seen between the two, I think it could. I think it would be a shot in the arm for WWE. To have these two main event on Monday Night Raw. As we always would like to say, give it a chance, will you? Give it a chance and see what happens. If it doesn't work, then you know what? Don't do it again. So, I'm not trying to take sides here with anybody. I'm just saying, why not just give it a chance and see how it goes? Like I said, if it doesn't work, then don't do it again. That's the way I see it. So, and I know Fletcher's probably going to disagree with me on that, but hey, it's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I don't care what anybody says. So enough said. Florio, it's yours.
And that's why Michael Fletcher is the heel commentator of this trio, no doubt about it, when it comes to this show. That's why he's the Corey Graves, and that's all I can say on that. Whereas I'm the Michael Cole, and Bullock's the Byron Saxton, and he just showed you why he is the Corey Graves right there. So well done on that. So All right. Getting back to the match action, we now go to our second cruiserweight match of the evening. The in-ring debut of the Raw in-ring debut of cruiserweight champion T.J. Perkins, fresh off his title defense against Kendrick last night. He went one-on-one with another former Cruiserweight Classic competitor, Tony Nese. Winner of the match in between 8 minutes and 50 seconds to 9 minutes and 5 seconds. The winner of the match, of course, it was T.J. Perkins. He wins it with the knee bar. And it was announced that also next Monday night on Raw, we are going to have a rematch for the Cruiserweight Championship. T.J. Perkins will be defending against the Brian Kendrick next Monday night at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. And it's going to be a homecoming for T.J. Perkins because he is billed from Los Angeles, California. So Staples should probably get a rousing reception at Staples. So MF, your thoughts on this second Cruiserweight match and also the announcement about next week?
I actually like the announcement for next week. Good match. I can't wait to see Kendrick versus Perkins go at it again. That's going to be an interesting fight. I definitely am loving T.J. Perkins. I think he's going to be a fine champion. I got a major bone to pick with the fans. How respectful were you guys tonight? First you were chanting CM Punk, then Randy Savage. What? You weren't entertained? Morons trying to hijack Monday Night Raw. What? You're trying to be an IWC country? You're not. You're not Boston. You're not LA. You can't get away with that. What? You're what? A lowly, stupid, idiotic city, and you come and rip the crowd? Why? Because you're not happy with the way that this is going? Oh my God, I was so freaking pissed over this more than anything else. I mean, you want to talk about disgusting? That's the most disrespectful thing, and that's be. You want Corey Graves, then look at these rubberneck nitwits who's trying to chant about a guy who got his butt kicked at a UFC 200. And then to make even matters worse, to talk about. Well, no, I can't say nothing bad about Randy Savage. No, I'm not going there. I'm not going to be that insensitive to the memory of Macho Man Randy Savage because Randy Savage was one of the greatest professional wrestlers of our time. But damn it to hell, don't you ever disrespect these guys when they're trying to bust their necks out in that ring to try to revitalize a division that you guys were so amped about since day number one when the CWC happened. Sorry, I am not going to stand here and talk about a fight that was at least 2.5 stars in my eyes, and then to turn around and you guys provoke it because you guys were bored out of your mind. Why? Because it wasn't that much of high spots. Because you're not really high on T.J. Perkins. I mean, for heaven to God, what do you want? Listen to his tail, and he's doing good. I like T.J. Perkins. I like the presentation he's doing. Tony Nese was actually really good in this fight tonight. So what is up with this crowd in this WWE universe? That's all I'm saying about that. Bullet, go.
Whoa. Man, but yeah, I do agree with Michael Fletcher. I mean, well, the match was 2.5 stars, but I am so freaking disappointed with the crowd. I mean, but then to basically chant CM Punk and also chant Randy Savage, what? Were you not pleased with what you saw out there? I mean, these two men were busting their asses off to give you a good match for what it was, and you guys weren't impressed by it? What do you guys think you are? Members of the IWC? Are you trying to become an IWC city? No, you're not an IWC city. I mean, Boston is, Chicago is, Philadelphia is, but not you guys. I mean,
You guys are just absolutely disrespectful, and as me being a fan, becoming a fan of the cruiserweights, I am thoroughly disgusted by the way you didn't give two craps about this match. You know what? If you don't like what you see, then you know what? You just need to either get out or stop watching freaking wrestling, for goodness sakes. Because you got no class, no respect whatsoever for what these two men, they busted their asses off to give you a good match, and you basically rather chant a man who got his ass kicked in the octagon? You guys are just a bunch of jackasses. I'm done. I'm finished. As far as, and for you fans who don't care about it, screw you. Florio, go.
I'm right there with you. I mean, it was so rude. I couldn't believe that. It was so flippin' rude. I honestly couldn't believe it. I mean, like Fletch said, we're not going to touch the Randy Savage thing. But CM Punk, though, I mean, here's a guy who got his ass handed to him by Mickey Gall at UFC 203 in right up the road in Cleveland, for goodness sakes. And yet, I mean, he's never coming back to WWE. Get over it. And that's all there is to say about it. I mean, never say never, of course, but based on the way that whole thing ended, he ain't ever coming back. Like it or not, deal with it. That's all there is to say about it. So,
yeah, freaking deal with it. And then now, here's what I think of you.
Amen. And stupid idiots. That's all there is to say about it. Stupid idiots. That's all there is to say about it.
Stupid freaking idiots, as
Yes.
far as I'm concerned.
Yes, but let me get to my rating for the match. Right idea, but I'm going to go a smidge higher. I'm going to give it a solid 3 stars. Good match between these two, despite the stupid idiot crowd opting to entertain themselves with random chants. Perkins gets his Raw debut, wins, and we have a title match set for next week. Again, I appreciated the presentation change for the bout. So that's all there is to say on that. So it's a solid 3 stars, no question about it. And I, too, am looking forward to seeing TJ Perkins and the Brian Kendrick one more time for the Cruiserweight Championship next Monday night at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. So 2 championship matches.
I can tell you that crowd there tonight, they're probably not looking forward to it based on what we saw tonight.
Oh, that crowd in Cincinnati? No way. But the crowd in LA, though, I guarantee you they're going to be very happy about that. So, all right, now we move on to this is a rarity, a 2-for-1 segment for the main event. How about this? It started off with Jericho's highlight reel. Chris Jericho's guest, none other than his quote-unquote best friend and current WWE Universal Champion Kevin Owens. They ran their mouths, their basic, their ego trip and whatnot. Seth Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins wanted to, get some payback on Jericho and Owens from last night. But the reports came out he injured his ribs at Clash of Champions and was not medically cleared. So they had security and Mick Foley come out and they escorted him to the back. And you think that's all, but wait, there's more. Enter the Wrestling Forum's favorite tag team, Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass show up. They counteract Jericho and Owens, and then Big Cass makes the announcement that, well, hey, we just ran into Mick Foley backstage, and me and Enzo are gonna face the two of you in a return match from SummerSlam right here, right now. So it leads to a tag team match. Remember, this was a return match from SummerSlam. These two teams met at SummerSlam, don't forget. It was Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Enzo and Cass in our main event. Winners of the match in 16 minutes and 30 seconds, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Owens wins it with a pop-up powerbomb on Enzo Amore for the win. So I do believe Michael Bullock starts this one off, I believe, correct? Because I think Fletcher led off on the cruiserweight bout, the second cruiserweight bout. So
yeah, he did.
Okay. Yep. And I got the confirmation. Yes, indeed. All right. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the segment, the highlight reel segment, and the main event tag team match. And we had a lot of fun with both of them.
Yeah, we certainly did. Well, before, what was the time? What was the time of the fall?
16 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right. Just wanted to make sure on that. Yeah, as far as the segment goes, it was a good segment. Of course, this was basically, Jericho and Kevin Owens basically, I mean, of course, running their mouths and basically, Jericho saying, Kevin Owens is the greatest Universal Champion ever, and yada yada yada. But then Seth Rollins comes out and basically wants a piece of Kevin Owens, but security comes out and Mick Foley they escort him to the back, and it just like we're gonna get some more of that ego from the two of them. Well, enter Enzo and Cass. Bada boom, how you doing? So yeah, and then they do their usual stick, and then of course Big Cass says, you know, we ran into General Manager Mick Foley and said we do have a match tonight, and it's against the two of you. So yeah, as far as the main event goes, I'm gonna give it about maybe 3 to 3.25 stars as my rating on the match. I thought it was a good main event for what it was, and yeah, so nice win for Jericho and Owens. We thought Enzo and Cass would get the payback from the losing to them at SummerSlam, but obviously that didn't happen. So I really got nothing more to say. So Florio, I give it to you.
As far as the segment goes, segment of the night. No doubt about it. It was the segment of the night. It was a fun segment with Jericho comedy that got several laughs from the crowd. The fans, of course, as always, were into Enzo and Cass, and Owens was strong on the mic before the comedy started. So that's all I can say on that. I don't want to get too much into that. As far as the main event goes, I agree with that. 3 to 3.25 stars. This was, to me, the second best fight of the night. And let me see it here. Of course, you hate to see Enzo and Cass lose here because they feel as if they have lost a ton of momentum. But after last week's main event, Kevin Owens really needed a win here. Enzo and Cass were certainly competitive, but they need to steamroll the Shining Stars and start to get back on track. It's good to see the champion get a clean pin. I feel bad for the live crowd, though, as they had to sit through a 3-hour marathon that felt longer than usual, with WWE phoning in the last hour of the show at least. If nothing else, they provided some hope that they are fired up about next week's show in Los Angeles with the 2 championship matches advertised. And it will also be interesting to see if that's when we finally see Triple H on Raw again, based on that little exclusive video of Triple H and Stephanie leaving together at Clash of Champions. So that's all I can say on that. So, and it closes out. And then next week, of course, the Women's Championship match, Charlotte and Sasha Banks, TJ Perkins and D. Brian Kendrick for the Cruiserweight Championship. And a special guest appearance by a couple of guys that Michael Fletcher and I had a lot of fun watching growing up. One of our favorite shows we used to watch a lot, That 70s Show. Michael Kelso, Stephen Hyde, of course, Ashton Kutcher, and Danny Masterson. They're going to be on the show next week. Normally, we frown upon guest stars, but you know what? I'm going to make an exception because Fletch and I, we used to love watching these two guys on That 70s Show back in the day, and damn it to hell, we're going to have a lot of fun with this next week to see their confrontation with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. That could actually be halfway decent, if I'm going to be real honest with you. So that's it. Segment of the night and second best fight of the night as far as the match goes, 3 to 3.25 stars. So, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on all this?
All right, there you go. Segment as a whole, I mean, yes, segment, non-wrestling segment of the night. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I thought it was great. As far as the match goes, yeah, I'll give it about 3 stars. I don't think I got nothing else to say or no arguments here. I think it was definitely more enjoyable than I thought, and I really enjoyed how everything came out and played to the fold. Like I said, it was definitely a great style, a great everything. So, I mean, everybody played their parts really well. I'm not gonna give it anything more than that. So, gentlemen, I think it's time for the overall review. So let's go.
And I will start it off with the overall review. Another so-so show tonight. I'm going to give it between 6 to 6.5 out of 10. I think I'm leaning more towards 6.5, really, maybe even 7, but I think 6.5 is the appropriate rating. I am not going to lie here. The first hour was really rough, and it felt like a waste of time in many aspects. It had a feeling that this was going to be a dreadful show, but they turned it around, and I felt that it was solid overall. I loved that we didn't start with a promo. I appreciated the presentation changes to the Cruiserweight division and the fact that they got 2 matches. It felt as if they realized that they messed up last week and needed to fix it. It was definitely a positive step forward as far as that's concerned. I also felt that Charlotte and Sasha did very good setting up their women's championship rematch. They have been very hit or miss promo-wise, but what we saw tonight came off very well, I thought. Speaking of the ladies and the cruiserweights, I also love that they set up 2 championship matches for next week and actually announced them. While I am not a big fan of the Cesaro and Sheamus cop-out, there is potential, and we know they are getting a tag title shot soon. There were certainly misses here, and they didn't give a ton away because of the competition tonight, but this was far from a bad show. Fight of the night, definitely Roman Reigns and Rusev for the U.S. Championship. Second best fight was the main event with Jericho and Cass and Enzo and Cass, that return match from SummerSlam. And throw in a couple of solid cruiserweight matches, TJ Perkins, Tony Nese, and the tag match with Alexander and Swan against Dorado and Gulak. Those were your 4 fights of the night. You had a couple of showcase matches, Sheamus and Cesaro going up against those Ham and Eggers, and then the showcase match for Bayley, a la Braun Strowman and Nia Jax. So that's really all there is to say on that. So 6.5, a solid 6.5 out of 10 for this edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. So like I said, the 2 championship matches next week: Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Women's Championship; TJ Perkins, the Brian Kendrick Cruiserweight Championship; and the special guest appearance of Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson, a.k.a. Michael Kelso and Stephen Hyde from that 70s show. So looking forward to all that next week at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. So, MF, your overall thoughts on this post-Clash of Champions Monday Night Raw tonight?
I'm going to give it an average show. 6 out of 10 is my rating. Like you said, there was some good moments, not a lot of them. I will say this: I think it could have been a lot more better, but it just kind of it left a lot to be desired. Let's say it like that. But it was good enough. I got nothing more to say. So 6 out of 10. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's a 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, it was an average show. I mean, like you said, the first hour, I think it really lacked as far as I was concerned, but it did pick up as the rest of the evening progressed. But yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. I think we pretty much touched based on everything. So 6 out of 10 for this edition of Raw. So that being said, Florio, I think it's time for your Tony's take with the Impact Wrestling.
Indeed, you are right on that, Michael Bullock. You are correct on that, sir. So, yes, indeed, it is now time for my Tony's take. And remember, just the one show this time around because the Cruiserweight Classic, of course, ending recently. So now it's all about Impact Wrestling, and rightfully so. So as we continue on the road to Bound for Glory. So we'll see. So the big question is, was I going to be kinder to this show, or is I going to be harpooning it like I did a week ago? Well, let's find out. We started it when, just like on Monday Night Raw tonight, we actually started off with a wrestling match. I know it sounds silly, but it is refreshing to start a show with a wrestling match, right? So We started it off with the first semifinal bout in the Grand Championship Tournament. Eddie Edwards going up against Drew Galloway. Winner of the match via a split decision. And advancing to the finals at Bound for Glory, Drew Galloway. It went the full 15 minutes. Hands down fight of the night. This was the fight of the night. 3.5 stars is my rating for the bout. Very good match and a great way to kick off the show on a fresh note. These two worked together well, and while I had hoped the final stretch was a bit more imaginative, it worked. Also, Eddie Edwards loses nothing in the loss, while Drew Galloway moves on for his inevitable clash with Aaron Rex. Or will it be? We'll find that out in a little bit. But 3.5 stars, fight of the night. And the best part of these Grand Championship matches is that there has been no BS, no interference, and for that alone, this is an early success. Well done. Now we move on to our usual in-ring segment. We had EC3 come out, and Bobby Lashley and Moose and Mike Bennett and everything else. This worked. The Galloway EC3 feud is far from over and is just on a back burner, and it also set up for the main event. So that's really all there is to say on that. So now let's move on to the other Grand Championship semifinal bout. It was Aaron Rex, formerly known as Damian Sandow, going up against Eli Drake. Winner of the match at the 35-second mark of round 3, 35 seconds of the third round via a pinfall, and moving on to face Drew Galloway for the Grand Championship at Bound for Glory. Of course, it was Aaron Rex. 2.25 stars. Third best fight of the night here. Let's see. Solid overall, but I am still waiting for Rex to wow me. That's really all I can say on that. So that's all I can give it, 2.25 stars. And then the announcement was made, the video package, and TNA announced their newest signee, and this is not a big surprise. Gentlemen, Cody Rhodes is now the newest signee of TNA Impact Wrestling. What is that going to mean for Cody Rhodes? And hopefully they book him a lot better than WWE did. That's all I can say. Even though we had some moments in WWE, I'm hoping he gets booked royally better. I mean, hey, look what they did with so many of the other names that have come in from WWE in the past. I mean, Bubba Dudley, Christian, major success. Kurt Angle, obviously. Maybe who had out of all the former WWE mainstays, I think Angle had more success than anybody. Jeff Hardy. Heck, we can consider Matt Hardy. EC3, formerly Derek Bateman over there. Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre, whatever you want to call him. Aaron Rex, Damian Sandow, and now you got Cody Rhodes. So let's see what happens. In-ring segment, the Broken Hardys and Decay. Well, it was really more Decay, really, but they were interrupted by the Broken Hardys. Wow. Segment of the night here. It was a delightfully wacky segment with everyone playing their characters well. Rosemary, once again, shined for Decay. But it was overall great stuff to build to the Great War, which we know will happen at Bound for Glory for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. The Decay going up against the Broken Hardys. So that, and like I said last week, I'll say it again. When it comes to Bound for Glory, the Decay and the Hardys, they're going to steal the show. I don't care what anybody says. They are going to steal the show. Period. And the statement and the quotation. Let's move on to our X Division Championship match. DJZ defending against challenger and former champion Trevor Lee. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 45 seconds via pinfall, and still X Division champion DJZ. Even though it was a short match, I'm going to say it was the second best fight of the night. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars for what we got during this bout. Let me see. They made the best of their time, but it was completely disappointing that TNA still has no idea how to book the division and is content with 3 to 6 minute TV matches on the rare occasion that the X Division gets on TV. So, and then we move on to this in-ring segment. Knockouts champion Maria Kanellis Bennett a so-called open workout. She had Sienna and Allie with her. She berated Allie like she always does. And she promised Sienna that she would get a title shot down the line. But then this masked woman comes out, this ninja woman comes out, and it turned out to be Gail Kim in disguise. All right. I know I've been harpooning this, but, you know, this was actually better than most of the Kim and Maria segments. Maria got to be the overconfident heel who thinks she can succeed. She also got to be, you know, the biatch, and Allie is really sympathetic right now. Finally, Kim gets to make her look like a fool to get a small amount of revenge. And if Maria could only stop that over-the-top yelling, that would be really great. So I love her. Don't get me wrong. I've had a love affair with that one for forever and a day, but the over-the-top yelling is a little too much for me. But other than that, I love her to death. So we'll see how the match goes at Bound for Glory. My girl, Maria Kanellis-Bennett, defending the Knockouts belt against Fletcher's girl, Gail Kim. So we'll see what happens. Main event of the evening, tag team match. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley and the Miracle Mike Bennett going up against Ethan Carter III and Moose. Winners of the match in 8 minutes and 27 seconds via a pinfall. Ethan Carter III and Moose, they get the win. And it was, Moose took out Lashley, tagged in EC3 as Moose and Lashley brawled. And then EC3 won it with a roll-up out of nowhere. I can only give it 2 stars. It was gutted by commercial, what we got was solid and served as a fine preview for the 2 main events of the pay-per-view. But honestly, there was no heat to it. But wait, there's more. You think it would end there? Oh, no, there's more. You remember last week I told you about a big announcement that Billy Corgan was going to make? I told Fletcher this behind the scenes. So, oh boy, we're going to have some fun with this, guys. Billy Corgan comes out and says next Thursday night, it's going to be the final show before Bound for Glory, the go-home show. It's going to be a live show. He says it's not going to go down like this. And next week, Ethan Carter III is going to captain one team. Bobby Lashley is going to captain the other team. So it's going to be a 4-on-4, 8-man match. The winner, and if EC3's team wins, or if Bobby Lashley's team wins, whichever team wins, that team captain gets to pick the stipulation for their World Heavyweight Championship match at Bound for Glory. But it's not going to be an 8-man tag match, no. It's going to be Team EC3 versus Team Bobby Lashley. You ready for this? Lethal Lockdown. Yes, we're going to get a Lethal Lockdown match on free television. Team EC3 versus Team Lashley. If EC3's team wins, he gets to pick the stipulation for the title match. And if Lashley's team wins, then Lashley gets to pick the stipulation. That was a pretty big announcement that was largely met with a little bit of some apathy from the crowd, much like the Brawl, which is a shame because the press conference between EC3 and Lashley was really good. So Bound for Glory, here's the gauntlet. Here's what you can expect at Bound for Glory. It all goes down this Sunday night from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. Moose is going to go up against Mike Bennett. They announced that there's going to be a Bound for Gold gauntlet #1 contenders match, and that winner will get a world title shot down the line. Maria Kanellis and Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship. The finals of the Grand Championship Tournament, Aaron Rex versus Drew Galloway. The Great War for the TNA World Tag Team Championship, the Decay against the Broken Hardys. And then, of course, the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, Bobby Lashley, Ethan Carter III. Stipulation to be announced. It depends on which team wins that Lethal Lockdown match on Thursday night. My overall thoughts on this show, solid 7 out of 10. It was an overall good show, an improvement over the last show, from the last show. It started pretty hot and unfortunately got cold as the show went on. They did some great build for Bound for Glory. The Galloway versus Edwards match was very good. They got the announcement of Cody Rhodes. In 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, and the focus was good, even if things lost steam down the stretch. The only real complaint that I have is that the X Division continues to be a mess, which is a shame. The worst part is that it's the fault of creative because they have a great core of guys in DJZ, Andrew Everett, Trevor Lee, Eddie Edwards, and Mandrews to build off of. And that's all there is to say on that. So so it's a 7 out of 10 for this edition of for this past week's edition of Impact Wrestling. And of course, this is it, boys. Thursday night. This Thursday night. From what I'm hearing, it is a live. It's going to be a live show, the go home show for Bound for Glory, and they say it's going to be a live show. So, and of course, let's not forget the headliner for this show: Team EC3 versus Team Lashley, Lethal Lockdown. Do I have to spell that out for you boys? Winning team, whoever team wins, that team captain gets to pick the stipulation for the World Championship match at Bound for Glory in the main event. So, yeah. So really looking forward to seeing how this all goes down Thursday night live. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Pop TV. Check your local listings for the channel in your area. I mean, well, and actually, there is one other match that I can confirm for Thursday night, and these are the only two things that I can confirm since it is a live show and there are no spoilers and the whole 9 yards. You already know about the Lethal Lockdown match with Team Lashley and Team EC3. We're also going to get a Next Division Championship match. DJZ is going to defend the championship against Eddie Edwards. So those are your two matches for the big Road to Glory edition of Impact Wrestling. Go home to Bound for Glory this Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Pop Television. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. That Lethal Lockdown match, boy. Ooh, we're going to have some fun with that. All right. So that'll put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, now we're going to do our shout outs and all open format. Whoever wants to start it off, feel free. Just save me for last so I can set up the future content. So Bullock, Fletcher, whoever wants it first, go for it.
Yeah, I'll take it. And of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's Ridiculously Raw, the Cerebral Smack Talk, and of course our Strictly Sports shows, whether it's College Football Thursday or NFL Friday. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. And thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, shout outs to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and of course, Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh. And of course, to all of our friends from our high school days, Al Bredesen, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaisa Butler. So, yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for me. So until tomorrow night for an all-new edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. So, Fletcher, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. First off, thank you to all the great fans out there for making Ridiculously Raw a very good show, and much love to you guys for being so loyal. I mean, this has been a really hard week for all of us. I mean, especially when we have these pay-per-view a week events. I know maybe sometimes you might get a little tired of us because we're always on almost every single night except for one night. However, you guys have been so passionate, so fired up. I know we're still trying to get the hang of this new design because now it's YouTube Live and not Google Hangout from back in the day. But you guys have been so patient with us, and I'll tell you, we're going to get better. We're going to get stronger. We're really going to be pushing the envelope very soon. Always, tomorrow night is another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, and we do got a great show lined up for you guys. We got, of course, SmackDown Live, which will go down. Then I also got some Ring of Honor news, as this is actually the weekend of all-star extravaganza. Basically, their big show, their collaborative show with New Japan Pro Wrestling, their pay-per-view, as a matter of fact, is this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So definitely, I'm going to give you the full, basically, I'm going to recap the full fight card for you. Plus, there was some Ring of Honor action that went down this past week. I'm going to review that. And then, of course, one of the reasons why I love doing the show, Lucha Underground. We had a pretty crazy show as usual. I'm going to get into all that stuff for you guys. And we're going to do it at 10:30 Eastern. So until then, it's Mike Fletcher. You know the routine. Huzz Ham Hounds. I'm out. Good night. Tony, take it home.
All right, we'll do. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our projects as ridiculously over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world, enough said there. Of course, special shout out to our first lady of the Wrestling Forum who couldn't be on with us tonight, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, but she should be on tomorrow night. So hopefully we'll get her on tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Of course, shout out to her, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, the rest of our crew, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Albert Edison, and Rob Parsons, and of course, certainly last but not least, the hardcore pipe bomb himself, Derek Ferreira. And that's pretty much it. So I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night. Tomorrow night, like Flex said, we're going to be back at 10:30 for the Cerebral Smack Talk on his channel, BraceFan95. We're going to review SmackDown Live, headlined by AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Championship. Should be a lot of fun with that. And then Fletch also will have his news from ROH and Lucha Underground and his Mikey's Mindset. Looking forward to that. We're off on Wednesday, and then we'll be back with you on Thursday for College Football Thursday. Hopefully we'll have a show this time. We had to cancel the show last week, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll be ready to go this time around. And I hope so, because we got 3 headline matchups to get into on Thursday night. Stanford versus Washington, Wisconsin versus Michigan, and the headline game of the week, Louisville and Clemson. Oh my goodness, that's going to be craziness. And then Friday night, NFL Friday, we'll recap the Thursday night game with the Dolphins and the Bengals, and we'll also preview the rest of the action from week 4, as well as our power rankings. And this weekend is TNA's Bound for Glory. Michael Bullock will not be a part of that because Bullock, as you know, is not a TNA fan per se. I don't know if we can do a show. I know Fletcher's probably going to be busy, but I probably won't be able to do the recap show on Sunday because the pay-per-view thing I have here doesn't really work here. It doesn't really work anymore, and I had a lot of trouble doing the other things. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get something at least for on this weekend for Bound for Glory. So that's it. Okay. Fletcher, I guess Fletch just text box did. Fletch will do the recap on Sunday. Fletch will give you a solo recap of Bound for Glory on his channel, BraceFan95. I'll be sure to tune into that. And besides, I might have family plans anyway. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio for Good Old MF and the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, and the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, and Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.